everybody. I'm Will.
And I'm Kristen.
And this is So I'm Watching True Blood, Season 3, Episode 2.
Beautifully Broken.
I have memories, like images, like scenes, but I don't remember the plot. I don't remember Franklin.
Oh, I'm spoiling left and right on the watch along, so
you're just like, oh, right.
Yeah.
Well, we do get the werewolves. It's an interesting werewolf lore. It's not to my preference.
Well, it's not even like, that's not like, to what it seems, that's not like where they started existing. It's just that, like, they're Nazis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somehow we can't get away from it.
Well, this was when it was also like, not even at its peak. It was at its peak in like 2014, 15, 16. And now.
This was now, certainly.
Yeah.
This was pre. And I mean, it is when you're dealing with supernatural elements, especially characters with a naturally long life, it is intriguing to go back in time to events. There was a fair amount of mythos and lore around some of the Nazi, like, there was, like, experiments, eugenics, all that stuff. So it kind of is rife for this type of creative storytelling and exploration, but I am just a saturated sponge when it comes to white nationalism and Nazi.
I can absorb no more white supremacy.
So what's the whole flashback with Eric? Him and Godric working for the SS?
Basically,
I thought that was Russia. USSR is Russia.
Yeah.
SS is German.
Sorta. Yes. I mean, like, so yes, they were SS agents, but it was like they were doing it, they were infiltrating in order to get to the, they weren't, Godric and the Swedes were not Nazis.
They didn't share the vision
These Swedes. There were Swedish Nazis. Please, God, get me off this topic. I can't, I know I'm saying everything wrong, and I just can't.
I think we're fine. I think we're fine.
Because, like, that's actually what a big part of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo is about, is that, like, they were Nazis, like, involved.
It's so funny because I think I might have mentioned this one of the I don't remember. I remember the Olympics were in Norway in '92 when we were in second grade.
Really?
Yeah, Oslo. And so we learned about it, and that was my introduction to World War II and to Nazi Germany. We read a book. It was like for children, and it was about Norwegian children who found Nazi gold. And so that's like coming back to me now because the book had like a spirit of adventure, and I remember not fully comprehending what it was I was meant to be taken.
No, you're totally right, because like we had our like when I was going through school, we had our like Nazi unit in 6th grade, and so I was young for like my age, so I was like 10 when we started it. And I just remember reading these like 4 or 5 novels about like the Summer of My German Soldier. We read Number of the Stars. I read The Devil's Arithmetic. I think I read parts of Night. And I just like so many, and a little bit of The Diary of Anne Frank. I didn't read the whole thing until I was even out of college. But I'm just like, my little 10-year-old brain was like not totally equipped for all of that. So I still think about a lot of it in like a weird way. It's bizarre. It is fascinating. And you're right. This is like sort of ripe for the picking with certain things like that, but it is also like,
well, and especially at this time, I think it was because we felt so removed from it. We don't feel removed from it now.
Well, this is prior to all of the stuff on Teen Wolf too, where it was like there was like a stretch of time there where like everything was the Yakuza. There were multiple shows with berserkers, and there was one other one I feel like that we were just getting inundated with like the same thing in every show. It was hilarious. This is no longer hilarious.
So, Eric and Godric, what are they looking for?
They are trying to find the werewolves. That's the whole point of it, is that, like, the reason he's remembering is because Sookie showed him the, like, rune.
It stands for Operation Werewolf, some kind of secret Nazi commando force from World War II. I was hoping you could tell us more.
Never seen it before. Sorry.
Why do I get the feeling you're blowing me off?
A few moments later.
And he lied to her and said, I don't remember. But then we have the flashback where it's like he clearly was like looking for the werewolves so that they could do these assassinations and everything.
What assassinations?
That's why they killed that woman. She was a werewolf.
Okay.
Yeah. I think they were trying to get rid of the werewolves and the Nazis were using the werewolves. And so Eric and Godric infiltrated the Nazis to find the werewolves to kill them.
Okay. Because the werewolves, we have properly met them, and they are just...
We met Cooter!
I said escort him, not hunt him like an animal.
Oh.
He is a goddamn animal. You're about to get deader, dead-ass mother...
Cooter! Back off. Cooter?
Huh?
Seriously?
Forgot how hot he was.
Coot can be a little sensitive about his name.
He was really hot.
He's hot.
Well, no, I mean, we went through this talking about season 1 and 2, but it's like, I was 22 watching this the first time, so a lot of these...
14 years ago.
A lot of these men looked like old redneck men to me, and I was like, ugh. Yeah. And now, at 40, I'm kind of like,
oh no!
Don't mind if I do. They are just wolves with red eyes. It was super successful at the very end of this episode when Eric and Sookie go into the house and the wolf comes out.
That's scary.
Dang, Sookie.
But other than that, I actually don't... it's fine, because you just know that it's the limitations of the production.
Yeah.
But I also do just have the memory of being like, but this was also HBO Sunday night television. Like, do something.
And also, this is the year that Game of Thrones premiered, right? 2010?
11.
11? So close. So it's
yeah,
like,
but
I
season
know...
1 of Game of Thrones is...
But it doesn't really feel...
No.
At the time, it didn't feel that way. So I agree with you. I'm sort of like... Although, to be fair, like, some of the more campy qualities of, like, the effects and stuff really, like, help it hold up, in my opinion.
I agree. It just sort of... I think it's only a marginally successful effect.
Yeah.
And because I remember the wolves were like trained, so obviously they were
like more like dogs.
Yeah. And if you watch, there's so many scenes where they're clearly wagging their tails.
Oh no.
They're like trying to add like angry sound effects.
Yeah.
But they're working for Russell
Edgington,
who is the king of Mississippi. And it seems like that's off the books. Like, that's sort of frowned upon, that he has werewolves doing his bidding.
Sort of. It's sort of frowned upon. The most frowned upon thing is that the wolves drank from Bill. That's the, like, thing they get punished for. I don't necessarily think that Russell gets in trouble for, like, employing the wolves, but it's certainly not, like, on, like...
It's not protocol.
Fully on the up and up.
Yeah. So he has kidnapped Bill and brought him to his mansion because...
He wants him to work for him. Well, he wants to take over. He wants to marry Queen Sophie-Anne and, like, combine their kingdoms. But he basically wants to take over Louisiana because he's bored in Mississippi. So it's sort of like a hostile takeover. And then he wants Bill to work for him and be the sheriff of Area 2. But he also is, like, implying that he knows that Bill is still working for Queen Sophie-Anne, which he sort of is, but we don't 100% know that yet. And it's
There's
also...
a lot of plots that are half plots.
Yeah. I remember watching the season and being like, what the fuck is going on? This is so weird and half-baked. And, like, we don't find out until basically the end of the season that, like, yeah, Bill is working for Sophie-Anne and has been for quite a while. And the first glimpse that we get of that is in this episode where a strange shadowy figure breaks into the Compton house. And looks through all the files and finds a file about Sookie that goes back to her childhood when she won a spelling bee by cheating, very obviously. Like, she's not a stupid person, but she obviously cheated.
It's also the implication that she didn't realize that
she was
what
cheating?
she was doing when
Sure.
she was 8 years old.
Sure. That kind of shit is hilarious to me. that she just like, because I forgot until this episode that I was like, oh yeah, she can read minds. Until Jason said it, I was like,
always feels like it's going to be the thing that's a step too far,
Yeah.
and somehow it's weirdly the most grounding aspect of the show.
Because everybody just sort of low-key knows about it. So anyway, yeah, and
it's also so silly that it,
Yeah.
like, the other stuff pales in comparison.
Sure.
I stand by that.
Some of it.
It's a little reverse engineered, but I stand by that.
Yeah. So basically, that's the first glimpse we get. But I do think Bill has like a very decent cover story because Russell is like, there's no way that you're telling me that Queen Sophie-Anne just like let you go home and date a waitress. And he's like, well, I'm from there. Like she just allowed me to go back to like my ancestral home. Like
also, I mean, she's not thrilled about it.
No.
No one's thrilled about it.
But she seems to also like Russell is like, that's how I would expect a vampire monarch to act with like the house and the staff and
food.
the like foppish riding outfit and the like 7 different ways to prepare blood, which is just like putting it in a different vessel, basically. Hilarious. I love all of that. And so Sophie-Anne
and the
seems
swishy husband, swishy
Talbot.
Greek husband.
Talbot.
You're late.
Talbot.
Welcome to Mississippi. Sorry I'm not dressed, but we were expecting you last night.
There were complications with his escort.
Fucking werewolves.
Oh, I love Talbot. So yeah, Sophie-Anne seems to be really struggling with like running her kingdom. And so this is not, I guess, politically a bad idea, but it's also one of those things where it's like we met Sophie-Anne first, and then now Russell is like holding our hero captive. And so we're like, well, you're obviously the bad guy. So we'll see.
Which is a place where Talbot actually does a lot of, like, pulls a lot of the weight.
Yeah.
Of making it interesting or compelling or confusing.
Because he is super swishy. You're correct about that. He's also
but he's likable.
He's been redecorating. He's very like sassy. He keeps making like comments to which Russell is like, we don't need to say everything we think.
But he's also not menacing, and
No.
everybody is menacing. So it's really it's nice to have a character or to see a character just sort of enjoying the reality.
Like a trophy husband,
but he is, but he is also in power. It's an interesting character. The werewolves are still tracking Sookie though.
Yeah,
and she like could hear him plotting, and then
because he wants to be done with it so he can go home and watch Let's Make a Deal. Tacky, just so tacky. And also, I think they are tracking her because Russell needs her for leverage. So if they can get her, then Bill's
Bill
more likely to fall in line. Yeah.
And
Terry, she is just straight up wearing that engagement ring.
Mm-hmm.
What if he's just like, you took too long?
He would never.
But
Terry did sort of assist her with this, and they did give her a little pew-pew gun.
Yeah, she's got a little revolver now, which she shot the wolf at the end. That's where the credits pick up. Yeah.
Jessica is still just doing her what to do with this body.
Yeah.
And she was going to chainsaw it.
Yeah. She rents a chainsaw.
Uh-huh. And then this is after the shadowy figure went through the Compton house, but he's missing when she comes back to do it. And around that time, we met a vampire Franklin who had a meet cute with Tara.
There you go. That's James Frayne. That's Franklin.
Who's Franklin?
The one I was talking about that gets with Tara.
Busy night? You the only waitress?
He's awful. And the whole thing is awful.
Actually, I'm a bartender and I ain't working tonight.
Then what are you doing here?
Honestly, trying not to kill myself.
No memory?
And how's that going for you?
Well, I'm still alive.
Makes one of us. You got any of those true words?
And we did pan down to see his boots and jeans were the same. And he also got involved defending Tara's honor with the 2 fucking rednecks.
Woof.
Hey, this is what happened, dude. Andy put that serial killer down right here.
His
His name was Eggs, you racist piece of shit.
His name was Benedict.
Fuck the killer, bitch!
You seem to remember Franklin. I don't. So this is going to be...
You're going to be so mad when you remember.
It's going to be a roller coaster.
So mad.
Now that you say that, I remember having things I didn't like, but I genuinely can't remember what they were.
So the first thing I'll say is I love James Frayne. He's amazing. I think he is so good and so fun. The reason that I like him so much is because he plays Forney in Where the Heart Is with Natalie Portman. And I love that movie, and I love him in that movie. And so I was very pumped when I saw him in this show. I was like, shut up, no way, that's amazing. And then it's just, yeah. So for now, it's fun. He basically holds one of the rednecks while Tara just like punches his lights completely out.
Apologize to the lady.
Fuck you.
And his fangs pop out because presumably he's turned on by it, the whole thing. She punches the one. Cool, they're pissing on where Eggs died, which is, and talking about that's why they're pissing there.
Oh, it's confirmed.
Yeah, 100% confirmed.
With a flourish.
With a big flourish. And so she like is just mainlining Wild Turkey across the parking lot and decides to go and confront them. She knocks the one of them into the truck and to the ground, like, which is pretty impressive. And then Franklin holds the other one and like punches him, or she punches him a bunch. Yeah, it's good. It's a good meeting, and
we picked up where we left off with her plot, which was her trying to kill herself on a whim.
Yeah.
She's very adamant that it was just like one of those like intrusive
I've just had
thoughts.
enough, and then she just like acted on it.
But she's not actually going to do it, and so Lafayette takes her.
Like, she's not actively suicidal. She just was like, "What if this was it?"
You might as well give it a shot. Let's see. Maybe it'll help. I don't know. So he takes her to a facility. She thinks it's like for her, but it is for his mother, Ruby.
Sorry, I have multiple things to say. We're not even there yet.
Go for it.
So when she makes him stop the car, like halfway there, and I love the moment when he is trying to like sort of read her the right act, and he's like, "You want me to plan your funeral though?" Like, he's properly mad at her. And then they arrive at this facility, and she's like, "You can't commit me against my will." And I'm like, he for sure can. You tried to kill yourself in front of him. You absolutely can commit a family member for that. Like, not long term, but you force them to have a 72-hour hold for sure. I know that that's a fact. So regardless, yes, they get there, and it's not for her. It's so that Tara can see his mother, Ruby Jean.
Something like that.
Played by the incomparable Alfre Woodard.
Can I help you?
No, that's just my son, Lafayette.
Hi, Mama.
I can't wait to do season 2 of Desperate Housewives.
You told me your son passed away.
He did. God killed him. Cause he
Oh, what you said, Queen?
But he keep coming back. Hey.
So good. So we had a hard N-word and a hard F-slur in this episode, and it was taking me out. Because that's the first thing she says is God killed Lafayette because he's gay.
We've softened the way we speak in the last couple of decades.
Yeah. Well, also, it's like, this character can't say that word. You know what I mean? Like, but we also meet Jesus.
Like, what is her diagnosis?
It seemed like schizophrenia.
It's just like a dementia, schizophrenia type thing.
She was like, God killed him, but he keeps coming back. So I feel like it's sort of a voices in the head, like delusions kind of thing.
And we did meet Jesus.
Oh, Kevin Alejandro.
This is Jesus. He's a Mexican.
I'm sorry.
Don't worry, I'm used to it. Jesus.
Lafayette, this is my cousin Tara.
Love him.
And he and Lafayette did have a meet cute as well.
And then, because I love that Lafayette is like, "I'll put you in here if you try that again, and I will make sure your nurse isn't half as hot as Jesus." Well, he calls him Jesus, but like, I feel like the rest of the time we call him Jesus.
I don't fully remember, but I remember we say Jesus.
Jesus, okay.
There gets to be religious allusions and stuff.
Yeah, okay.
Oh boy, Sam is still dealing with his family there's not a lot of reprieve is, I think, the issue that I'm having, is they're adding a lot to the show, and all of it is grating or taxing or frustrating.
It's all too tacky.
Yeah.
It's not even, it's too everything is too tacky.
This show doesn't need more angry people.
Exactly. Angry Southern people? Ugh. We have enough.
And so we meet Sam.
do you know what I think the issue is? Is that they're softening Andy Belfleur, who was like the antagonist for like the first 2 seasons. And so we're softening him, but then you still need something. But then they threw too many more angry people.
Everybody's a little bit splintered.
Yeah.
Everybody's fractured, and so everybody's getting an antagonist. It's
too much.
Yeah, it's a lot. So we get Sam's family. His mother's compelling enough.
Well, it's J. Smith Cameron, so
I don't know. Yeah.
She's very good. She was on Succession. She's just like really good. So she's very like able and capable of delivering all of this stuff with enough gravitas. But the boy who plays Tommy and the man who plays the dad are very medium. And like, I don't necessarily mean that in an insulting way, but it's like also Sam Trammell is very good at this role as well.
It's just like a lot. Again, it's a lot to ask of so many new different people.
Yeah.
And so we're watching Sam trying to connect with his brother, and his brother is just being awful.
1958 Plymouth Fury.
You know, that's the same car they used in Christine.
Stephen King, horror movie.
Yeah, you think I don't know that?
I do.
Probably think I can't even read.
Hey, I didn't say that.
I'd give anything to be adopted.
Would you now?
Yeah.
When they saw what I was, they walked out on me.
So I'm supposed to feel sorry for you now?
Well, I didn't realize this was a whose life is more fucked contest. If it means that much to you, you win. Look, I got no idea how to deal with this whole family thing.
You could have just carried on not dealing with it.
Right, I'm not here to take anything away from you.
Yeah, well, good, because I ain't got nothing to take.
And it's in that, okay, fine, sit here and rot.
Yeah.
Like,
so that's the thing too, is like we don't get a hard age on Tommy, and I think it would help if he was like 16.
they try to have it both ways as much as I can remember.
Yeah, and so I'm like, if Sam is in his 30s and Tommy is like 25, then you need to pull back the attitude. But if Tommy is like 16 to 19, this is allowable. But you didn't tell me how old he was.
But then,
that's a problem.
it's... Every character doesn't have to be likable.
No,
but
for
I
sure.
have to be willing
to hear it
watch
out.
them.
Yeah.
Like, I have to be willing to be in their presence.
So
we're not...
Yeah, the thing too that doesn't totally work for me is that, which I feel like this is part of the plot, and we come to find out it's maybe not true later, but they claim that they gave Sam away to the Merlots because they couldn't take care of him. And...
they were desperate.
That they were desperate, but then they had another child and kept him. And I'm sort of like, that's shittier than keeping your kid that you can't afford.
On a whim, I was just reading, because I fell down rabbit holes, and it was like one of those where a girl was being held captive by her father, like in the basement, and he fathered like 5 children,
I've heard that
and
story.
3 of which they brought into the house, but left 2 in the basement.
Yeah, literally, what the fuck?
And they were talking about how, like, that was one of the hardest things coming out of it, was reconciling with why you were chosen and why you weren't, and not taking it out on each other.
Yeah.
And, like, and again,
that's so much
fascinating.
Therapy.
Like, there is so much there to explore, but I don't know that season 3 of True Blood is...
It's like
the D plot on season 3 of True Blood.
It's like what I was telling you, where it's like sometimes on Angel, they like cover really intense things, and I'm like,
this is a one-off, babes.
Is this like LAPD violence against people of color? And I'm like, the like B hour of the WB's Wednesday night lineup? Are you out of your senses?
Well, and again, it's like I do want to give some credit, because it's like, that's noble of you.
But you're doing it bad, and there's no black people in your writer's room. I know it for a fact. Like, not on this, honey.
No, Marshall, that's the actor's name. That's rude. Tommy is just... Well, and the other thing is, it's like, I think he could be an interesting character, but it's the way he's deployed is just so clunky. Yeah. And because we get that fake out. would have just rather him and Sam as dogs were fighting, were being dogs, were like playing or whatever, and the truck comes barreling down and they only just barely get away.
Yeah.
But as it is, Tommy lures him there to, I don't know,
and then he turns into an owl or something.
A hawk and like flies away.
It's very bizarre. Also, there was like...
it's just shitty. I'm just like, I don't like you and I don't care about you now. So why
And
are
also
we doing
because
this?
his mother claims that like part of the reason they gave him away is that because the man is like normal. So she was like, there was a chance that you wouldn't inherit it.
Jolie,
that's what his name is. Yeah.
Because I kept thinking there she was saying Jolene, and I was like, that's a name for...
So basically that's like a whole thing. I just also am sort of like, I said it in the last episode, the minute that I found out that they had been evicted from their home, I would have been like, I'm probably good. I think I'm good. And Tommy's got scars all over, and he says he used to get in a lot of fights.
Mm-hmm.
Dog fights.
Jason and Andy.
Jason's still trying his best. Andy's going on the news and stuff to like talk about it.
He's the town hero.
Well, that's my job. I was just doing what I had to.
Yeah.
But they get a call for...
a meth lab.
Well, it was...
Detective Belfler, we've got a 586 in progress in Hotshot.
You realize a 586 means illegal parking?
Oh, I could have swore that's what Kenya said. Anyway, they're busting a meth lab, whatever the code is for that. Over.
It was like a parking violation.
Yeah, parking violation. It
It
turns out
said,
it's a meth raid.
Yeah.
And Jason gets seduced, gets lured out by this woman.
Get off my land, you fucking pigs! Get back, sir! Don't tell me what to do! I ain't got no fucking right to be here. Calm down, Mr. Norris. Calm down. Fuck you. I'm in office, and you were not allowed to say that.
Are you remembering?
I mean, kind of? I feel like I rejected this season.
Hey. Are you alright?
Her name's Crystal.
Again, I remember Debbie Pelt, but...
No, she's not. I mean, Crystal Norris. So basically, this basically kickstarts Jason's plot for like the rest of the series, essentially. And he catches the guy with the sack of meth too. But
Doesn't he end up becoming a cop? I think Jason...
Yeah, but that's not the part I'm talking about.
I know.
Okay. But yeah, so Crystal is... that's the thing for me too, is it's just like... I feel like it... in addition to like what you said, everybody's fractured and then everybody's getting their own antagonist, it also kind of feels like everything is getting like tackier. And so I was like, because this plot is like kind of interesting, but it's like very tacky and methy and there's incest involved.
This place has everything. Brooms, scrunchies, screw heads, a shaved lion that looks like Mario Batali.
No. Like, come on.
I mean, I think that just comes in with the territory of Southern Gothic vampire.
Yeah.
Like, so, okay.
Well, I do think that's mostly it, but there was some more stuff with Eric and Sookie. He, like, noticed that she was engaged. She won't invite him inside, and then he, like, hears the wolf in there at the end, and he's like, invite me in. And then she does it very Southern Belle. She's like,
Invite me in now.
Mr. Northman, will you please come in?
Mr. Northman, would you please come inside? I was like, okay, Sookie.
That's in character for her.
No, it's in character. Hoyt also came by Jessica, or the Compton house to see Jessica with some, like, True Blood, and she's still freaking out about the body, so she was like, I can't talk about it. And then she was, like, hypothetically asking Pam questions at the beginning about how to not kill people when you feed, which was also... And then, Lorena arrived at Russell's house. I was like, I know we're forgetting, like, a couple of small things.
Sookie has nothing to do with this.
We know that you love her, that you've killed for her. And from look in your eye, I can see you'd do it again if you thought that would save her.
So romantic.
It's not romantic. It's delusional.
And, like, Bill shoots up and grabs the sconce and hucks
like an oil lamp.
Hucks it at her. And she sort of slow motion is like...
Incredible. No notes.
It
On
was
fire.
it was so jarring. I was waiting for it to be a fantasy of Bill's.
Yeah.
Like, I was waiting for the camera to pull out and for him to be like, hello, Lorena.
I think he actually did it. I think, if I remember, I think he actually
But I'm
did
like,
it.
wouldn't she, if she's his maker, shouldn't she be faster than him? I don't know.
I don't think this actually necessarily has that rule because Sophie-Anne, or no, Sophie-Anne overpowered Eric, and I don't think she's as old as him. So, yeah.
I don't know. It was very avant-garde. And I mean, I laughed. So there is that.
God, she's just awful, though.
But I know she's around for a minute because he wrings her neck.
Oh yeah, we haven't. Oh god. But I think that is largely it. Arlene is still like acting really weird. She's vomiting. Terry doesn't know why, so he like makes this list of reasons why she can trust him with her kids.
It makes her sick to her stomach.
Yeah, and there was Godric in the flashbacks, which was nice. I liked having that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So we'll catch up with the next episode. Bye.
Well, they have a Jewish Dracula.
Oh, what's his name?
Sidney Applebaum.
Okay.